existing in the world is because she doesn't have the courage to kill herself, and two, people don't want to start problems and just throw her out of a room because she's useless to society. So that's the only reason why they kind of just linger around for the next 30, 40 years. Like they really just linger. Like nobody really wants them. Nobody really cares about them, unless they're, just get horny for a little bit. And then as soon as the horniness is gone, the woman's off there just lingering around. She just lingers, looking for any spare attention.
Have civility. I don't need to go to Jamba Juice and know that you're a furry. That's all I'm saying.
You said
women also earn. Let the facts. And if anything, I know it's going to be entertaining.
All right. She said scrap a little bit, so let's get Pearl in here. Come on.
So Bernie and Papa, bye. Mommy's gonna.
No can mean yeah and yeah can mean no. Just depends on how you say it.
There's no bad media. And so for me launching that, as long as I knew what I was posting on there and I was comfortable with it, I was going to monetize myself on my own terms, and that was the best part of it.
Yeah, you're in control.
I'm there to teach reading and writing. Like, I'm not there to instill their morals.
Do you want your boyfriend to watch now?
While we're currently dating, no. Does that speak to morality?
No,
No girls growing up say they want to be Taylor Swift, because that would never happen. But we can be like the OnlyFans girls. We can get rich like they have.
When we talk about a loser, the definition varies. Is it the athlete who comes in last or the gambler who leaves the table broke?
Oh my goodness.
But the definition we are auditing today is more precise and far more damning. A loser, someone or something that is in a worse position or has less value at the end of a process. So the critical question becomes, what was the process?
For Women's Liberation Front, RAP, for women.
Political law about tap dancing, right?
And enrolled in Congress.
That fighting for women's rights.
For too long, women have not been heard or believed.
For over half a century, we have been conducting a grand social experiment, a revolution that promised women everything: freedom, power, independence, a seat at the table. And a final score must be tallied, not by looking at intentions, but at results, not by listening to promises, but by observing reality. So we have to ask the uncomfortable, definitive question. At the end of this process, is the modern woman truly in a better position? Does her life have more value, more meaning, more fulfillment? Or has the great liberation been the greatest con of all?
Is having a boyfriend embarrassing now?
So, are you single now? Are you dating?
I'm very single. Okay.
According to the study, AI will take more jobs from women than men by 2030.
I was burned out, chronically anxious, and had completely lost my ability to live in the present.
This is a deep dive into the catastrophic losses. Happy New Year! This is a good time to tell the truth.
Patreon, salute, 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 salute. Now it's time for us to get into this and do what we gotta do. Because we many.
The
percent of Americans who identify with any religion has been on the decline for decades.
A survey this month from the Pew Research Center found 29% said they had no religious affiliation.
What is it?
Pearl in here. Come on, Pearl. Here she comes. All right, Pearl, welcome. I'm going to ask you the same question. If you're going to change somebody's mind tonight, one person, that one person, how are you going to do it?
I'm going to let the facts speak for themselves.
Fair enough. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, this debate, our main card, has a little bit of a different format than what we did previously. We're going to have the opening statements for both of you. Those will be 5 minutes apiece. Then you'll each get 10 minutes to kind of do an interrogatory of the other. That will go back and forth. And then after that, we'll go into open debate. As you saw with some of the other debates earlier, we try to let the other person answer. I'll try to jump in as I can, but for the most part, I want you all to mix it up, all right? Have fun with it.
Sounds good.
And who is first?
I'm first.
I thought so. Anna, take it away. We got 5 minutes.
In a May 2024 appearance on Tim Pool's Culture War podcast, my opponent, Pearl Davis, declared that women aren't really doing much. We're not having kids. We're not really contributing to the economy when you look at output. In fact, she uses this ridiculous assertion to argue that women should not have the right to vote. While it's true the birth rate has declined, and we'll revisit that in a bit, women account for 47% of the American workforce. The Council of Economic Advisors found that women have contributed a substantial portion of the US economic growth since 1970, which wouldn't have been made possible without the feminist movement. By 202017, women were responsible for nearly 40% of total gross domestic product, amounting to a whopping $7.6 trillion. Of course,
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Ooh. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That sucks. I had a feeling that was gonna happen. I had a feeling that was gonna happen. Yeah, 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 yeah. Can you hear me? Tell me, can you hear me? Can you hear? Hey, I think you can hear me now. I think so. So somebody answer me this. Did you at least hear what she said at the beginning of the debate? Okay. Let's just run it back. Fuck it. Let's run it back.
And here goes the pyro. All right. I assume Pearl's going to do it the same way, but while we're waiting for her to get down there, and I was going to ask you real quick, like, how are you feeling right now?
Pretty good.
Do you
Happy
feel
to
like
be here.
you've waited long enough? Are you ready to get
I'm
out here?
hyped. I'm super excited. Come on, let's get the energy up. Yeah, love it.
So yeah, so at least she's smiling. But yeah, I don't like her. She's a typical mannish effiness. See, let me just break this down a little bit. There's just a certain aura that I just don't like in women. It's a masculine undertone. It's hard to explain at times. You can just tell it's not feminine. Just even like, come on, guys, turn up. Let's get the energy up in here. Like it just oozes masculinity. Like, and maybe I'm sexist. Maybe I like the idea of a woman being soft spoken and just chill and demure. And maybe I'm just a caveman for that. But I don't want none of that big personality type stuff. I don't want that type A personality vibe. I don't want that loud vibe. I don't want that kind of bossy vibe, always trying to control the room. That vibe disgusts me when women display those characteristics, you know? But God bless her. But you can just but here's my thing. You can sense it on them within seconds of being in a room with them. All they got to do is open their mouth for 10 seconds and you're like, "Oh, you one of them." You one of them like bossy, controlling, masculine, type A type women and it's just gross. It's just fucking gross. Now, I don't hate her. She's still a child of God. But these are the type of women who I prefer to never be around for any reason, not even share an elevator with. I don't wish any bad on her though, but I don't like being around these type of people. And I'm sure she probably will feel the same way about me. No, no love lost. Let's just continue. And well, let me say this. Let me say this. And it's not even about discrediting her accomplishments, whatever they are. I'm not well versed on Anna Kasparian or however you say her name, respectfully. Anna Kasparian. I'll put some respect on her name, Anna Kasparian. Look, I don't need to discredit any of her accomplishments. Shout out to her accomplishments. She probably accomplished more than I ever will in my life. Salute for that. You can salute somebody's accomplishment, but still not like them or respect them. You can respect their accomplishments, but not like or respect them. Now, I don't know her, so I'm not going to go that deep, but I'm just saying, based off the vibe I get from her, based on everything I've seen on the internet from her, she may be a swell human being. But I think I made my point. I'm not really a big fan of Pearl either. I think she's kind of a cunt, even though she's on our side. So shout out to her. Shout out to the work she's doing. I appreciate the work she's doing. And obviously, I don't know her personally, so I'm just speculating. She's kind of masculine and aggressive too, and she's kind of sarcastic and snarky a bit. Not my type of lady. But once again, child of God, God bless her. Hope she has a wonderful life. Have nothing against her on a deep level. But let's get into it.
Very happy to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. So we had a little interview earlier, and it didn't run. So I'll just ask you again, like, what do you think tonight is your best hope for swaying people in the crowd who might not be on your side?
I don't have a lot of hope, to be honest with you. But look, I love that we're having this conversation. I'm excited to scrap a little bit. And if anything, I know it's going to be entertaining.
All right, she said scrap a little bit, so let's get Pearl in here. Come on, Pearl. Here she comes.
Okay, let me just say this. Yep. As far as like me wanting to have bedroom fun with Pearl, she really doesn't do it for me, in case anybody cares. You know, she does it for T Orlando, but she does nothing for me in that way. But you know, a lot of guys seem to really like her in that way.
All right, Pearl, welcome. I'm going to ask you the same question. If you're going to change somebody's mind tonight, one person, how are you going to do it?
I'm going to let the facts speak for themselves.
Fair enough. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, this debate, our main card, has a little bit of a different format than what we did previously. We're going to have the opening statements for both of you. Those will be 5 minutes apiece. Then you'll each get 10 minutes to kind of do an interrogatory of the other. That will go back and forth. And then after that, we'll go into open debate. As you saw with some of the other debates earlier, we try to let the other person answer. I'll try to jump in as I can, but for the most part, I want you all to mix it up, all right? Have fun with it.
Sounds good.
And who is first?
I'm first.
I thought so. Anna, take it away. We got 5 minutes.
In a May 2024 appearance on Tim Pool's Culture War podcast, my opponent, Pearl Davis, declared that women aren't really doing much. We're not having kids. We're not really contributing to the economy when you look at output. In fact, she uses this ridiculous assertion to argue that women should not have the right to vote.
Let me touch on something real quick. See, if woes were good people, it wouldn't be a problem if they were in the workforce. And it wouldn't be a problem. Well, let me just put it like that. If women were good people, them being in the workforce wouldn't have destroyed the family. It wouldn't have made them be more disrespectful to their men. It wouldn't have made them less likely to have children. The birth rate wouldn't drop. You know, but female empowerment just exposes women's horrible character and in turn destroys society. So the idea of women working in itself isn't so bad if they had the same character that the average man does. But empowerment just ruins women fundamentally and takes them out of their biological role, natural role, whatever you want to call it. Because when you empower women, they're just gonna do selfish shit. They're not gonna do things for the greater good like men do. Because even bad men that I know, like they do things for the greater good. Like, even they're bad men, but they take care of their family. They make sure the the bills are taken care of. They make sure the business is taken care of. They make sure the kids are staying in school, doing the right thing, listening to their parents. Like, you know what I mean? Men have the general greater good of society in mind. When women get empowered, it's all about what makes them feel tingly inside at the moment. And that's not good for society. Because women being in the workforce, I mean, yeah, like I said, it's great for the top one percenters. It's lining their pockets. Yeah, more workers and more taxes or whatever. It's lining their pockets, making the economy boom. Well, I don't know about making the economy boom, but look, I'm not an economist, but the top one percenters love it, I'm sure, while the rest of us struggle to pay rent. But what I was gonna say is women having jobs just empowers them to be the terrible people they've always probably been. So now that I have a job, I don't need a man. So now I can just keep getting pumped and dumped by Chads and Tyrones instead of settling down and starting a family with somebody on my level and, being a happy, wholesome family. Instead, I'm going to buy my own apartment, have my own car, and just get pumped and dumped by a bunch of Chads until I'm mentally ill. And I can go on and on and on. But female empowerment and feminism destroys women, men, and children. And of course, we can go deeper, but I won't. Let's get back into it.
While it's true the birth rate has declined, and we'll revisit that in a bit, women account for 47% of the American workforce. The Council of Economic Advisors found that women have contributed a substantial portion of the US economic growth since 1970, which wouldn't have been made possible without the feminist movement. By 2017, women were responsible for nearly 40% of total gross domestic product, amounting to a whopping $7.6 trillion.
Okay, but where did that where did that money go? Like, yeah. Okay, yeah, women make money and make corporations richer because they get money and blow it on makeup and trips and brunches and name brand clothes they don't need. I mean, these stats that you're rattling off, what are who's benefiting from these positive stats? I guess is what I'm saying. Is each individual American richer because women are in the workforce or poorer because women are in the workforce? Are people better off? Is each individual person better off that women are in the workforce? Can we break that down? Yeah, T. Orlando says more women in the workplace has kept wages stagnant. Yeah, that's what I hear. That's what I hear. I'm no expert, but that's what I hear. Matter of fact, let's ask AI. Does women being in the workforce just make the top 1% richer and keep wages stagnant? Says research suggests increased female labor supply can depress wages in specific occupations due to supply and demand. Hmm.
Of course, that figure doesn't include the trillions of dollars in unpaid labor women do every year tending to the household, raising children, and caring for ailing parents. And when it comes to certain sectors of our economy, women are a dominant and indispensable force. Like in the healthcare industry, where they make up nearly 80% of workers, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. That's 16.4 million women. When it comes to education, in 1960, women earned less than 35% of all bachelor's degrees. Today, they earn roughly 58% of all bachelor's degrees, which Pearl herself benefited from after graduating from Elmhurst University. Women also earn over 60% of master's degrees. I hope to hear Pearl explain how a more educated and skilled population somehow translates to cultural decline, especially as we...
I'll tell you why. Well, first off, a more educated female population doesn't make a more intelligent female population. And what are they getting these degrees in? I can tell you why it does a cultural decline, because they're having less babies and they're more disobedient to their husbands and boyfriends who should be their leaders, because women are morally bankrupt on average, on a large scale. Women are better people when they're under the submission of a righteous man. So her going to college and being empowered doesn't make her a better person, and it doesn't make her more intelligent either. It makes her more aggressive, masculine, bullheaded, and more susceptible to manipulation from satanic influences, to be frank. That's why it causes a decline in culture and society. Because women as a whole have had a special type of love affair with Satan since the Garden of Eden. And empowering women in colleges and jobs and stuff, it just makes that love affair stronger. When women are left to their own devices, they follow Satan. They become more promiscuous, more mentally ill, like I said, more bullheaded, more arrogant, more stuck in their ways, nothing godly. That's why it degrades society. Quite simple, actually.
Million women. When it comes to education, in 1960, women earned less than 35% of all bachelor's degrees. Today, they earn roughly 58% of all bachelor's degrees, which Pearl herself benefits.
The funny thing is, they earn all these master degrees and this and that, and guess what? They still want a man to come in and pay all the bills. So what was it all worth? They still want a man to come in and make twice as what they make so they can retire them, so they can start to have babies. What was it all worth? Make it make sense, cuz. These are all ego projects. These women who are getting all these accomplishments and making all this big money, and we know most women aren't making big money. Most women are making average money. But for the ones who are making big money, how many of them are making big money so they can split bills with their husband for a lifetime? Yeah, exactly. Mhm.
To the economy when you look at output. In fact, she uses this ridiculous assertion to argue that women should not have the right to vote. While it's true the birth rate has declined, and we'll revisit that in a bit, women account for 47% of the American workforce. The Council of Economic Advisors found that women have contributed a substantial portion of the US economic growth since 1970, which wouldn't have been made possible without the feminist movement. By 2017, women were responsible for nearly 40% of total gross domestic product, amounting to a whopping $7.6 trillion. Of course, that figure doesn't include the trillions of dollars in unpaid labor women do every year tending to the household, raising children, and caring for ailing parents. And when it comes to certain sectors of our economy, women are a dominant and indispensable force. Like in the healthcare industry, where they make up nearly 80% of workers, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. That's 16.4 million women. When it comes to education, in 1960, women earned less than 35% of all bachelor's degrees. Today, they earn roughly 58% of all bachelor's degrees, which Pearl herself benefited from after graduating from Elmhurst University. Women also earn over 60% of master's degrees. I hope to hear Pearl explain how a more educated and skilled population somehow translates to cultural decline, especially as we compete with China in this increasingly multipolar world. The modern feminist movement also had a major impact on decreasing domestic violence, and that's according to the US Department of Justice. Rates of intimate partner violence decreased by more than 60% from 1994 to 2010.
Yeah, because that's less opportunities the woman have to drive a man mad to want to backslap. Yeah, because she's at work more. Could that be it? I don't know. Maybe that's not it. Maybe domestic use declined because women and men stopped getting together as much. I don't know. I don't know why that is. So women got into the workforce and domestic abuse declined. I don't. The only connection I can make, y'all can help me below, is that men and women were around each other less, so domestic abuse dropped. That makes sense to me, but y'all could correct me below.
Of the American workforce. The Council of Economic Advisors found that women have contributed a substantial portion of the US economic growth since 1970, which wouldn't have been made possible without the feminist movement. By 2017, women were responsible for nearly 40% of total gross domestic product, amounting to a whopping $7.6 trillion. Of course, that figure doesn't include the trillions of dollars in unpaid labor women.
I thought we looked at that already. Why does it keep rewinding to the same part? Oh no.
Do every year. Women also earn over 60% of all conference honors.
Not only comes from covering current events, not only.
They also brush economic instability under the rug, despite young people citing their personal finances as the main reason why they're holding off on marriage in the first place. In lieu of discussing those factors, Pearl spends much of her time discouraging men from getting married in the first place.
Women aren't marrying as much too because they don't need a man. They can get their own job and they can be picky and they can hold out for Mr. 1%er that's never coming. See, I don't buy that. I don't buy any young woman who said, I'm not getting married because my money ain't right. Women see men as wallets. You get your money right by getting with a man, a hardworking man, and working with him to better your economic situation. A woman is going to be better off coupling up with a man and them tackling the world financially together. So I don't buy that. Young women aren't getting married because they don't got money. Shut, that don't even make sense. You're gonna be able to afford more with a partner splitting bills with you, right? She just saying anything now.
During her debate with Trent Horn, she declared that men are better off shacking up without ever getting married. Her reasoning? Women are too fat and STD infected.
25%, that's a lot.
You did say that. She didn't stop to think about how they contracted the STDs in the first place. Data from the National Library of Medicine show that modern men are just as promiscuous as modern women.
Well, yeah, but they don't have to open their legs. So that's silly to say, oh, yeah, women got a bunch of STDs these days because men are giving it to them. Yeah, but they didn't have to open their legs, so they still got to hold some accountability. You know, like why aren't these women making these men strap it up? Why aren't these women having safe, protected? Because they're just as much of because they're heathens, just like the guys are. And a society full of heathen women is not going to be a good society. Point blank. Period. I don't think so. Cactus. I don't think so. Yeah, I think yeah, most women are having sex with essentially the same 20% of men.
Men and women are in bad shape, and in the United States, we can discuss why, but feminism is not the reason.
Very good. Thank you. Nice job. Okay, Pearl, we got 5 minutes. You're going to be on the clock, and let's go.
Most debaters and commentators are elitists who tell average Americans from their ivory towers what to think and how to feel. My answer to this question not only comes from covering current events and researching the facts, data, and statistics, but also in my professional experience interviewing over 1,000 people in America and Western nations. Feminism has given women power, and power corrupts. And that's what's happening. Feminism is robbing men of their disposable income and their prime earning years. Feminism has empowered women. It has empowered women to be sexually promiscuous. Feminists say that they fought for women to not subject themselves to the approval.
Feminism doing good. Now, here's the difference. Anna has been a journalist for 20 years. I don't know how long she's been on TYT or whatever, but Anna is very experienced with this type of stuff. She's experienced reading off a teleprompter. She's experienced talking in public. Pearl isn't. So really, Pearl is really out of her element here. She really is. And I think Anna did at least 4. I've seen Anna do like 4 or 5 of these. Not that I sat and watched the whole thing, but I've heard of her doing debates numerous times. So Pearl is really looking like a huge amateur, which she is. But that's why I wouldn't take a debate like this. As good as my points are, hiding behind this mic, somebody who's really experienced debating could smoke my boots. I'm aware of that. I'm humble enough to admit that. Even if my points are better, just the way the words they gonna use, the way they gonna flip stuff, like, you know what I mean? It really is an art, debating. So even if I'm right on all my points, you know, I can still get smoked. So I said Kendra. Pearl was not coming off well at all. But let's continue.
A career bashing women for theirs. Critics often argue they contracted the STDs in the first place. Data from the National
Not only comes from covering current events and researching the facts, data, and statistics, but also in my professional experience interviewing over 1,000 people in America and Western nations. Feminism has given women power, and power corrupts. And that's what's happening. Feminism is robbing men of their disposable income and their prime earning years. Feminism has empowered women. It has empowered women to be sexually promiscuous. Feminists say that they fought for women to not subject themselves to the approval of men. Why then are 5 to 10% of women between the ages of 18 to 25 on OnlyFans or other prostitution websites? There are more online prostitutes in America than female Walmart employees. 1 of 3 women will catch an STD at some point in their lifetime. 90% will catch HPV, which is incurable. Feminism has empowered women to abort 1/8 of the world population and 1/3 of Gen Z. Feminists have been so empowered to commit paternity fraud. Paternity fraud is unpunished in any state in the USA or any country in the West. If done correctly, a man will have to pay for a child he was fooled into believing was his until that child reaches maturity. In some states, that man will also have to pay for that kid's college. That is slavery and is forbidden under the 13th Amendment. 1/3 of paternity tests are negative by the American Association of Blood Banks. Feminism has empowered women to rob men of their time, their resources, their reputation, their children, and in the most extreme cases, their lives. They do this through child support, alimony, false allegations, and paternity fraud. How many people in this arena have a brother, a father, an uncle, or a friend who has gone through this meat grinder? Anna has been on the air for 15 years and is completely oblivious to these issues. It's a silent genocide of the lives of millions of men. Standing on the sidelines of the arena, I have 33-year combat veteran Terrence Popp. He served through 3 wars and was almost killed in 2. He got married, had 2 children, and served in the United States Army. Terrence Popp was deployed to Iraq in 2004, and as a member of the airborne infantry, he was wounded by a roadside bomb and suffered a TBI and a stroke from the blast. He was evacuated out of the country, and it took over 2 years until he had recovered. While he was recovering, his wife was plotting to divorce him. His wife murdered his 6-year-old chocolate lab out of spite because he filed for divorce first. When he confronted her, the response he got was, "I told you I did not want you living here." At this point, he was forced to leave the marital home and live out of his car. The divorce took away his home, his children, and left him penniless and saddled with a child support payment he could not afford. Terrence had to pay $144,000 over a 12-year period for a divorce that his wife was empowered by feminists to plan and execute. Terrence went into court to fight for 50-50 custody. Terrence was called a murderer and an assassin in open court and was given 96 hours a month with his children. 96 hours a month is not a father. While homeless, he spoke to many other men who would never get off the streets due to child support arrearages and penalties, and the men constantly getting arrested for unpaid child support. The disparage of losing his children and his home, and his PTSD and constant pain from his wounds, he became suicidal. While at his post in 2008, a former commander of his came to see him to secretly say his last goodbyes. The next day, Mr. Popp's former commander put on his dress blues and went to the Holy National Veterans Cemetery and blew his brains out. Terrence Popp was notified of the death and was shocked because he was planning to commit suicide in the exact same manner. So in effect, his former commander took the bullet that was meant for him. Terrence Popp decided he would not kill himself and has spent the last 20 years saving 576 men from suicide with comedy. If you look to the left of the stage, Terrence is holding the dog tags for every life that he has saved. Now, why am I telling you this? Shout out to Terrence, yeah. Now, why am I telling you this? Because men and American veterans are put in this position because of the empowerment that feminists like Anna have pushed for. There are millions of men that have died in this country from the political power that feminism pushes. Since 1970, an estimated 1.6 million men have committed suicide.
Time. Stop it.
If feminists cared about equality, why aren't they fighting for equality in divorce and family court as hard as they are fighting for abortion, working, or becoming sex workers? Thank you.
Like to open an argument. A lot of it was anecdotal about talking about Terrence Popp. I mean, who knows? Maybe I wouldn't have been able to do better, but I think she should have kept it more general. Like I said earlier, I think she should have focused on how feminism hurts society as a whole, how feminism hurts women, um, how it hurts women, men, and children. Um, I don't know. Let me know what y'all think. I think it was too anecdotal. I think she focused too much on promiscuity. I don't even know if I would say that's the worst part of feminism. Or maybe she just didn't articulate it good enough. That whole point about 5 to 10% of such and such women are on OnlyFans, that didn't that didn't really hit for me. Um, I don't know. Y'all let me know what you think below.
Okay, this is gonna be a heavy one. We're gonna go now to the opening interrogations. We have 10 minutes. Do we have that on the clock? Yeah, it's fading in right there. Okay, and take it away. 10 minutes.
Who's interrogating who?
Whoever wants to begin.
Aside from the specific anecdote that you shared, which of course is tragic, can you cite some actual studies that look at the statistics and back up what you say in regard to the outcomes of marriage and divorce in America?
41% of 109 rape cases reported to police in a Midwestern city were admitted to be false by complainants.
In one Midwestern city? And which Midwestern city was that?
You know, you can go from your ivory tower and
I'm
tell
not in an
people what
ivory
to
tower.
think
I'm
and
on
how
this
to
debate
feel.
stage interrogating your assertions, and you've only provided an anecdote.
Yeah. She's out of her, like I said, Pearl's out of her element. When you see, that's why these debates, you really gotta come prepared. You really gotta come prepared. Like just citing a statistic from a small Midwest town and you don't even know the town. Yeah, it's amateur now. I'm not roasting her because she's not a debater, but she's just not prepared. She's just not prepared. So even though I don't agree with Anna's getting at her. Anna's winning this debate, even though I don't agree with what she's saying. From a debate standpoint, I think she's winning the debate. No. And Pearl is clearly frazzled and frustrated.
Right.
Because if you look at the data, which I did, of course, you'll find that women are twice as likely to fall into poverty after divorce.
Right, because they can't
Alimony
stop
is paid
spending.
out in 10% of divorces. According to the Census Bureau, the average child support payment is $441 a month, and only 60%
Right, but how
of
much are
those
they
payments
making?
get paid out.
How much?
Women do not get child custody 90% of the time, as you have asserted before. In fact, 95% of custody cases are mutually agreed upon outside of the courtroom. Women get full custody 40% of the time. Men do get full custody 20% of the time. And 40% of the time, it's shared custody, which I think is the ideal situation, assuming that neither spouse is abusive.
And Pearl.
Okay. So far as the courts and who get custody and child support. Oh, the full video, let me just show y'all. Just it's on this thing called Word War Debate. So just type in Word War Debate. This is the first one they ever had, I believe. So look, I don't know all the statistics of I'll take her word for it. 90 she said 95%. I probably shouldn't take her word for it. I should probably look it up myself, but I don't got time to do that here. So for live stream sake, we'll take her word for it. It doesn't really disprove any of the points I make. So she said child custody usually gets settled 95% of the time outside of court, and they usually just agree on some terms. Okay, I can see that. child support. She said the average child support is like $500 a month. Shit, that's a lot. She said that like that was little shit, but she's rich, so the whole ivory tower thing is kind of valid with her, trivializing $500 a month. Motherfucker, that's a lot. When I only make $2,000, well, maybe not 2,000, but even if you make 3 or 4,000 a month, that 500 ain't nothing to scoff at. But okay, it's fine. Look, the point is, families should be together, so we shouldn't. It shouldn't even be a common thing that we have to go through all this far splitting custody and alimony and who gonna pay child support, because her bitch ass should have stayed with her husband that she had a kid with. in most of these cases, I think. And yeah, somebody said shared custody doesn't mean equal custody, but I guess the point she made was the parents agree on whatever the terms are outside of court. So even if it's not equal custody, that means the dad didn't want equal custody if he agreed to the terms. That's just how I perceived it. Y'all could correct me below. Orlando says women get primary custody most of the time. So what Anna just said was that well, yeah, women get full custody twice as much as men do. We could say that. Was 40 and 60. So what did she say? She said, let's go back.
As you have asserted before. In fact, 95% of custody cases are mutually agreed upon outside of the courtroom. Women get full custody 40% of the time. Men do get full custody 20% of the time. And 40% of the time, it's shared custody, which I think is the ideal situation, assuming that neither spouse is abusive.
And Pearl, excuse me, before you respond, if you could take your microphone out and hold it, it would be easier to hear you.
Okay. Alamo.
Really aren't big points that I make on my channel about the court system being unfair to men. What other points did she make? Yeah, I really don't talk about the court system on my channel. But so it really doesn't matter. Even if everything she just said is true, female nature is still female nature. So I still feel vindicated. None of my points have been disproven so far. But let's continue.
And medical care and dental are not covered by that, so a lot of times it does go above 50%. Again, you can go through the facts, the data, and the statistics and manipulate them any way that you want.
It's not manipulation. Those are the stats.
There are 1.6 million men in this country. Men are 9 times more likely to commit suicide after a divorce.
Compared to women, what's the number for women?
It's lower.
Really? What is it? Comparative analysis is real difficult for you, isn't it?
Okay.
She kind of got a point. I hate to admit it, but Anna kind of has a point. like, but hey, Anna isn't new to this. She true to this, even though I don't like her. She kicking Pearl ass right now. Let me know if y'all disagree. It's really unfair. It really is unfair. I mean, honestly, Pearl just shouldn't have took this debate. Yeah.
Go ahead, Pearl.
What's your next question?
You have asserted that men shouldn't get married, that instead they should
I
shack
didn't say
up.
that.
You did say that with
did
Trent
not say
Horn.
that.
Word for word, you said it makes more sense for them to shack up, live with a girlfriend instead of getting married. Do you think the advice that you give to men is the type of advice that will fulfill their lives?
I mean, yeah, us signing that piece of paper isn't going to make me more fulfilled as a person. I mean, yeah, so I can kick Anna's ass on that point. Yeah, men aren't more fulfilled when we hand over all the power and leverage to the woman after we sign that piece of paper. I can promise you that. Now she ain't gonna win that argument. Now she getting out of her. Now she getting out of her element. Now this is where I could cook her ass. Yeah, most men are not fulfilled in long-term relationships and marriages, and y'all already know why. Because women just degrade over time and become more bitchier, more controlling, more accusatory, more nitpicky, more naggy. So yeah, so you don't want to go there with me, Anna. But let's continue.
Because I'll tell you one thing, the best part of my life is my husband. I love my husband. He's my rock, he's my foundation. And no, my husband is number one. I love my career, but you know what my career did? When I met my husband, my career was already established. He, on the other hand, was couch surfing, he was in debt, and didn't know what he wanted to do with his life. I married him anyway. You want to know why? Because I had the economic freedom to marry for love, not for some Chad to take care of me.
How tall is he?
Oh, he's 6'1", about your height.
So he's still Chad.
You are so dumb. You are really dumb. For real.
Talk about what she just said. I mean, I like what she said. I don't know if I believe her. Let's rewind it. Let's rewind it. 61142. 61142. Somebody type in 61142.
Back up, live with a girlfriend instead of getting married. Do you think the advice that you give to men is the type of advice that will fulfill their lives? Because I'll tell you one thing, the best part of my life is my husband. I love my husband. He's my rock, he's my foundation. And no, my husband is number one.
He claims that her husband is number one over her career. It sounds good. It sounds good. If he told you to quit your career now or I'm leaving you, would you quit your career? Absolutely not. She wouldn't. It sounds good. I don't believe her for one fucking second. Now, let me. He's a Chad. Matter of fact, let's look him up. How much you want to bet he's a Chad? She tried to downplay him. Oh, he was couch surfing and figuring out his life. Yeah, he was a Chad though. It's gonna be one or the other. Now, if he was just, let's just look him up. Well, maybe he's not a Chad. He's average looking, but he is 6'1". But okay, I'll yeah, she bigged him up and then said he wasn't shit when she met him. But we're gonna break it down. I don't think he's above average attractiveness. Facts, yeah, Chamber. Long Stick Rick. Shout out to Long Stick Rick. I haven't even been using it. I gotta bring them back. Long Stick Rick and Long John Ron and All Night Mike. I gotta bring them back. So I don't know if I would call him a Chad. He looks pretty average looking, but he is 6'1" though. But you know what? I guess I'll give it to her. I'll give a bitch something. Can he at least be tall? RB? Yeah, I'll give you that. He could be tall. I'll give you that, bitch. Um, or I don't know. Is he attractive, fellas? No homo. Is this man attractive? Is he? What are we rating this brother? What are we rating this brother? Is this him? Oh my gosh, I don't think that's him. Hold on. He models. Well, I guess he is a Chad if he models. So we gonna. Oh wait, is this a better picture of him? He looked better on this pic. Pause. Um. Yeah, he's still a Chad. We'll call him a Chad. Um. But when did they get married? Let's really break this down. Let's really. He's my rock. He's my everything. My husband come first. I respect that she even said that. So she's not. I don't think she's considered like a progressive anymore. But either way, well, we know she's a feminist runt. But well, God bless her for saying that. Even letting those words come out of her mouth says something. Because a lot of these effinists would never let those words come out of her mouth, no matter what. Even to win a debate. Um, he been married since 2015. How old is she? He 39. She got married in 2015, so she got married right at the wall. No surprise. No surprise. She got married right at the wall. So she got married at 30, roughly. And you know what we say about what do we say about women who get married at around 30? Y'all already know what's coming. Y'all already know.
Once a woman hits 30, she cannot love you. Okay. And the marriage is not because she loves you. Okay. That marriage is for her to show to other people that she could fix her past, that she messed up.
But let's get back to it because I want to make a big point. She said, "You know what feminism allowed me to do? It allowed me to marry for love and not marry for money, so to speak, right? Or she could marry for love. She didn't have to marry for necessity or something, right?" Now, I'll say this. See, a lot of people thought that's what would happen if women. Well, let me break it down like this. I said this at the beginning of the stream. Women getting financial empowerment just makes them chase Chad harder. Women getting empowerment allows them to be more picky on the dating market, which is bad for the dating market because it's going to just be 90% of women trying to lock down 10% of men and getting more mentally ill and damaged as they fail every year. Um, but the point that she made was feminism. No, stop. What are you? Feminism allowed us to make more money, so now we can marry broke dudes. That's the logic that a lot of people had with feminism. Well, if women make more money, then women can marry broke dudes now. But no, they still want dudes to come in and pay all the bills, even if she make $250K. They want a man to make $350K and pay all the bills. So that's not what happened. Empowering women financially doesn't make more women marry broke dudes. It just make them say, I can't get married because men aren't financially stable enough for me to marry them. So here's the thing. Um, some women will do it. Some women will look at it like that, I guess. Oh, I got money, so I can marry a dude who don't got money. Some will, but it's usually going to be after they're already ran through damage. It's going to be at 30. They already been run through the ringer, and then they'll finally say, "Well, I got the bag. Let me just marry a broke dude." That's what they'll say to themselves once they give up. But she wasn't thinking that from 18 to 28 or 18 to 27. But she finally gave up. Like, well, I got the bag. I marry this cute, tall, broke dude. Yeah, when women get money, it don't make them more sexually attracted to dudes without money. It just make them want to get a nigga with money more. Or it makes them feel more entitled to a dude with money because I make money. I make that. So he at least got to do what I can do for myself. It just makes them more entitled to that guy.
I love my career, but you know what my career did? When I met my husband, my career was already established. He, on the other hand, was couch surfing, he was in debt, and didn't know what he wanted to do with his life. I married him anyway. You want to know why? Because I had the economic freedom to marry for love, not for some Chad to take care of me.
How tall is he?
Oh, he's 6'1", about your height. None. I don't want kids.
Let's not do shouting questions from there, please. Allow the.
So he's not going to get any kids because she doesn't want children. I wonder, did he want children? She didn't say, I didn't give him any because we don't want children. She said, I didn't give him any because I don't want children. So we know who running that relationship. But that tells a lot. She didn't say we don't want children. He probably do want kids, but he got to just, take what he can get because she got the bag.
These two to debate each other.
Okay, what's your question?
I mean, you don't really have much to answer, so I don't know what else to ask you. Do you think you're helping men by discouraging them from entering fulfilling marriages?
What happens to men if they don't pay child support?
I mean,
what happens? What happens, Anna?
How many men do you think get arrested? I don't know what the number is, but the idea that there's like a huge number of men getting arrested for not doing what they're supposed to do
15%
and take care of their children, it's not a huge issue.
What happens to men when they don't pay child support?
Only 60% of child support payments get paid out.
You got to allow her to interrogate you, not them. You got to stop yelling questions at her.
You can minimize men's problems all you want, but I don't think you understand how privileged of a position you're in.
In what way? How am I privileged?
Men are the ones that are on the hook for child support. Men are the ones that are on the hook for alimony. It's easy for you to tell men to just take the risk when you're not in that position.
So are you asserting that men shouldn't pay child support following a divorce? Do you believe that women should be financially responsible 100% after a divorce?
Feminists wanted to be equal. So I say be equal. If you guys want equality, 50-50 custody, no child support, no alimony, no special privileges.
Alimony is paid out in 10% of divorces.
It doesn't matter if you're part of the 10%.
It does matter. It does matter because you make it seem like it's a widespread issue when it's only 10%.
The 10 years doctrine is a sexist law against men. That's sexist.
How is it sexist if a woman decided to forego a career, decided to be a stay-at-home mother, and the marriage doesn't work out, she has no job, she has no income, so you think it's unfair to get support from her ex-husband so she can raise the kids, so she can pay?
60% of kids under 5 have daycare. Daycare is an option now. You wanted to be men.
Do you know how much daycare costs?
You wanted to be men. Here
Do you know how much daycare costs? Do you think it's free?
Let her answer.
A lot of things are expensive, Anna. I mean, it's
men. That's not an answer.
Women have 85% of consumer spending. Women spend money all the time. You spend money on hair dye. You spend money on Botox. You spend money.
You should think about it.
On the.
See, yeah. Now we're going somewhere else. We're going somewhere else. Anna was doing good, but now we're going to the, what is it, ad hominem attacks. You're saying you should think about Botox? That was a low blow. Low blow. It really makes you look bad, Anna. Yeah, because that Botox line hit a nerve, because Anna definitely gets Botox and plastic surgery to her face. Wait, that was completely uncalled for and unnecessary. Yeah.
I sure am.
You spend money all of the time.
Yep.
So you wanted to be men. Here it is. You're equal. Pay for daycare.
Equality means that when you have a child or children, you're both responsible. So the idea that the woman should take 100% of the costs on herself without...
I just think the man should get full custody. See, all this stuff is just stupid. The woman should just stay with the man and just take care of the kids. You don't need to be, that's really what this all boiled down to. If you want to leave your husbands, the kids stay with the man. And if you want to make some money, let the man pay you to watch the kids that are yours. See how it just starts to just not make sense and become redundant? Like, just leave the kids with me. How about that? I mean, I agree with Pearl. 50-50 custody, nobody pays child support. I get the kid half the time, you get the kid half the time. I take care of the kid financially when he's with me, you take care of the kid financially when I'm with you. That really is the answer. So yeah, the hell with child support. Child support is bullshit.
Any help from her husband or ex-husband is ridiculous. How is that fair?
Well, how is it fair that he doesn't get 50-50 custody?
Well, first of all,
it's
why
50,
are you asserting that they don't?
It's 50% his DNA. Why can't he have 50% custody? Where
there
have
was a
feminists
study.
been? I've been
Let
on
me answer
20
your question, even though I
different-
should be interrogating you. I'll answer your question. Massive study out of Massachusetts that looked at 24,000 divorces. In those 25 divorces, they found that in only 8% of cases did men ask for custody. 8%.
Right, because the average American can't afford divorce fees, Anna.
But women
it
can
costs
afford to raise the
$25,000
children
to get
by
a
themselves
divorce.
without support from the ex-husband. How does that make sense?
What did you say? I didn't hear you. We were both talking.
You're complaining about the costs while simultaneously arguing that a woman should not get child support in order to raise the children that the former couple had together.
Are you guys equal or not? You want to
Yes,
be equal.
equality means that
All
you're
right.
both responsible
50
for raising the children, and that includes the
so
costs
you should have
of raising
equality,
the children.
but not at the expense of men. 50-50 custody, 50-50, no child support, no alimony. That's equality. You don't want
Alimony
equality.
makes sense if
You
the
want-
woman was
you
a
want-
stay-at-home mother and doesn't have a source of income. How else?
So, okay, Anna. What if the dad was a stay-at-home dad? Should he get alimony from the woman? You keep saying if she was a stay-at-home mother. What about a stay-at-home dad? Should he get alimony? I'm just asking.
How else would she take care of the kids following a divorce?
By getting a job just like the men.
So you're saying that a woman who doesn't have recent job history is just going to willy-nilly enter the job force?
Shout out to Scott. We got an Anna fan. Shout out to Scott. He says, I love you, Anna. What do you love about her, Scott?
Or workforce, I should say, and easily get hired. Do you guys
Men
care about
do
this?
it.
So do you care about the children or not? Because you're making this about like the
What are
poor
you, a woman? That's an
husband, the
emotional
poor
argument.
ex-husband who doesn't want to pay the child support, doesn't want, to take on any of the responsibilities of having children in the first place. Why is it that you seem to have a problem with men carrying out their responsibilities? But when it comes to
men are dying to care about their responsibilities. Men
Really?
are fighting to be a part of their kids' lives.
What's the empirical data on that?
I don't need data. How many people in here have had a family or a friend fight for their kid and not be able to get it? The reason that this happens, Anna, is because lawyers tell them not to fight because it's so expensive.
T. Orlando say, didn't she start off talking about how important women are to the economy and how educated they are, and now they can't get jobs? That would have been a good point for Pro to bring up. Okay, Scott says, I don't know if he's trolling, but Scott says she's so smart, tough, and articulate. Okay, I'm no comment. God bless you, sir.
Expensive and they won't win.
What is
They
that
won't
based
win.
on? You have to provide, look, Pearl, I am open to be convinced, but I need more than anecdotes. I need more than vibes and feelings. Because we're talking about something serious here. We're talking about raising children. We're talking about the shared responsibility of raising children. That, of course, includes the
90%
cost.
of disputed custody goes to women. That's not equal.
90%, that's a totally made up statistic. Where are you citing that from?
All right, let's take a break there because our time actually ran up. Those opening interrogations are over. Let's take a moment here. You guys want to grab a sip of water? All right. The next step is going to be 30 minutes. We're going to open it up. Again, open debate. I'd remind you guys, I know everyone's passionate about this. I get that. But we can't have multiple people debating at the same time, right? We've got one debater here, we got one debater here. Let's keep it here, all right? Let's put 30 minutes on the clock, and let's begin the open debate. Pearl, I'll let you pick up here. Go ahead.
What happens to men when they don't?
Upstairs for a second. What did Pearl say? Whatever, let's continue. How many people we got in here? Let's get the donations up just because. Cash App, PayPal, Streamlabs all at the top of the chat. Everybody hit the like button. If you like my commentary, follow my normal channel. It's called Dating Dysfunctions. This is just my live stream channel. If I can find it, I'm gonna pull it up real quick. Here it go. Dating Dysfunctions. Go follow my channel. Follow me on Rumble. I clap Pearl's cheeks, but that's about it. All right, shout out Mr. Bang Your Mom. Cash App, PayPal, Streamlabs in the description. If you will be so kind. Let's get back into it.
They don't pay child support.
There are consequences for it, especially when
Which
there's a
are?
court order for them to
Which
carry
are?
out their responsibility and pay child support so that child can be raised.
And what happens
Do you
if they
think
don't
there
pay
shouldn't
it?
be legal responsibilities or legal consequences if they fail to carry out a court order to, take care of their kids?
I've interviewed men that have paid millions of dollars in
Don't
child
care about your
support and
interviews.
married-
Anecdotal evidence doesn't matter. What I need is actual, statistic, empirical evidence. They should pay their child support. $441
What happens-
is the average child support payment. $441 a month.
Yeah, that's for someone that makes $24,000 a year.
You just told me a woman can just go to work and take care of the kids totally by herself.
Listen. The overall point I make on my channel is none of this shit is worth it. So arguing this whole thing about child support, custody, it doesn't matter. It's damn near not worth it to reproduce with a woman in America. And it damn sure ain't worth marrying a woman in America. And I got arguments to say it ain't worth being in a relationship with a woman in America. That's what all this shit boiled down to. Like, what they arguing now don't really matter. It doesn't change those points that I just made. I don't know if I made a point. Those statements I just made, those assertions I just made. Live out girlfriend at best and always maintain power and leverage over women. And you don't got to deal with none of this shit. You don't got to deal with none of this if you maintain power and leverage over women like it always should have been. And you don't got to worry about none of this. Live out girlfriend at best. If you want kids, adopt. And then when the bitch start acting up, she can leave. This ain't your kid. This my kid. When the bitch start acting up, yeah, hey, don't call me no more. She don't got a key to your place. Y'all don't live together. Y'all ain't married. And this ain't her kid. So just leave, lady. Period. That's the solution to all this horse shit.
How does a guy live when he's paying $500 a month and $24,000 a year?
You think $500 a month is too much in child support? Do you know how much it costs to raise a child? Do you know how much childcare costs, for instance? I mean, that mother has to go to work, right? Where's the kid going to stay while that mother is working? How is she going to pay for what
happens to men when they don't
daycare?
pay child support?
Sorry, say that again?
What happens to men when they don't pay child support?
There are legal repercussions for not carrying out a court mandate to do something.
Do you think that fraud should be illegal?
Absolutely.
Okay. So why is it not illegal for women to fraud men on paternity? If a man does not find out he's the father over the age of 2, he is on the hook for child support for 18 years.
I don't know what the law is when it comes to that, but it's wrong. If you're lying about paternity, that is wrong, and there should be legal consequences
why
for that.
haven't feminists fought?
It's that simple.
Then why aren't feminists fighting for it, Anna?
Because feminists fight for women, obviously.
Right, that's my point, at the expense of men. You guys want to believe women at the expense of men. Why isn't Amber Heard in jail? Because of the Me Too movement. You guys push believing all rape victims, and now we have rape.
Amber Heard had to pay out a massive settlement.
Yeah, but why isn't she in jail?
You want her in jail?
Yes.
Well,
she ruined his
the penalties
life.
for defamation are what the court's decision is. Right? You want people to go to prison for defamation?
He had to go to 2 different countries to clear his name. Why isn't she in jail? He lost millions of dollars.
To be clear, you think the penalty for defamation is prison time?
I think the penalty for a false accusation is that the woman should get the same time that he would have gotten if he was found guilty.
Men don't go to prison for defamation.
And see, this is the problem with feminists. You want all these freedoms, but you won't actually be equal.
I do want equality.
No, if you wanted to be equal, you would fight for 50-50 child support, no alimony.
No alimony. So again, if a woman decided to forego working, decided to stay home to raise the children, and the marriage doesn't work out, she's got no income whatsoever, she doesn't deserve any alimony.
Women aren't even doing that. Number one, that's not even women are not staying home with the kids. And number two, you have daycare.
A lot of women do these days,
you
actually.
have daycare
The traditional women.
I don't want to hear about a lot of women, Anna. Where's the facts? Where's the where's the solid evidence? I don't want to hear about a lot of women. Where's the peer-reviewed study?
Who want to stay home, they want to be traditional wives, and you trash them all the time, which I don't understand. It seems like women can't do anything right when it comes to you, right? They're stay-at-home moms, they're traditional,
I understand that you can personally attack me.
I'm not personally attacking you.
Okay.
These are things that you have said on the record multiple times.
But if you cared about equality, you would care about false accusations.
I do care about false accusations.
No, you don't.
You don't know me. You don't know what I care about.
Look, all right. Let's talk about rights that men do not have. Men do not have the right to be enlisted in selective service. You know, we have 125K men who were drafted and buried overseas. Think about that over a second. You talk about the oppressions of the past, but how many men died in World War I and World War II and had no choice? And yet Anna complains about oppression. Men do not have the right to face their accuser in court when they have a false allegation and for personal protection orders that strips constitutional rights away from the man. Women go before a judge and say they don't feel safe, and more than likely a PP order will be issued. The man was not in court, had no say, has no defense, and does not get to face his accuser. That is done en masse, and many servicemen and first responders lose their careers over this because it strips a man's Second Amendment rights away based on no evidence. Men do not have the right to raise their children. Divorce is no fault, but when it comes to child custody, it's always the man's fault. He loses his children to the system. 96 hours a month the father does not make. Men have longer prison sentences. Women get a third of the time for the same crime. Where are the feminists fighting for equality on that issue? There has been rampant discrimination against better qualified men in hiring across multiple industries. Men pay more child support, and child support orders are not enforced at the same rates between men and women. Women are more likely
women pay
not
child
to
support.
pay
Fascinating.
and are prosecuted for non-payment at lower rates. Men cannot opt out of parenthood. Men have very few domestic violence shelters and are not taken seriously when they're domestic violence victims.
I agree on that. I do
White
agree
men
on
in
that.
particular are discriminated against when it comes to hiring and educational attainment.
True.
The Duluth model is a model that law enforcement, courts, and counselors use automatically that assumes men are the aggressor. The tender years doctrine is a guideline in divorce used to justify removing the father from the child's life. The only institutional sexism that exists is institutional sexism that discriminates.
Talking about something like, you know how retarded a court would have to be? Like, I'm just thinking, like, the whole thing, like, oh, we're looking out for the kid. No, the fuck you're not. Are you fucking retarded? Like, so you're gonna send a young child with some single struggling mother and give her full custody? Well, not that. I'm just saying, like, if I was a judge, like, and the father seemed like a responsible, mature adult, oh, the dad would automatically get custody. I'm not sending some kid with some bitch like, no, bro. I'm not giving. Man, listen. I just I the only if I was a judge, the only time I would give a woman full custody of the kids if like the dad was like a child molester or something, or clearly some type of drug addict, or just clearly a gangbanger or something. Anything other than that, I would always give the dad full custody. I'm not putting the kid in the custody of some fucking dingbat single mom who's just probably gonna go fuck Pookies and Ray Rays and put the kid's life in danger being around Pookies and Ray Rays and Chads who don't give a fuck about the kid. I think I heard some study, and I don't want to just freestyle studies, but I think they said something about kids being in the most danger when they're in the house with a step parent. Something like that. And that makes sense because you're not my fucking kid. And when you start tripping, I'm just going to do something to you. That's the logic. I mean, I wouldn't do that, but I'm just saying. Kids are fucking annoying at times, but you have restraint for them when they're your kid. When they're not your kid, you don't give a damn. Um, Single mothers are the fucking worst parents on the planet. So, in order for me as a judge to give full custody to a woman or even 50-50, I don't even feel comfortable with the kid going with you 50% of the time. You're not fit to run your own life, let alone run a kid's life and protect and do what's right for a kid. Women can't even do what's right for themselves. Like, the full debate is, if you don't want to hear me yap, you can find the full debate at Word War Debate. Word War Debate. If you just type in, okay, I got a roast. Okay, I hope that helped, Daxter. But I gotta roast you real quick, Daxter. And I'm roasting everybody. I'm roasting everybody. And maybe this is ignorant for me to do, but I'm about to do it. But Word War Debate. Or if you just type in Pearl versus Anna Kasparian debate. That's funny, T. Orlando. So yeah, Anna said her husband was the best part of her life, but didn't take his name. I mean, I get it. She did it for business reasons. But I mean, it's still a good point. It's still a good point, T. Orlando. But I also get the other end of that. So depending on who the woman is, I don't really trip about the woman taking the man's last name. Like if she's a doctor or a lawyer or yeah, like a judge or a public figure, I kind of get it. I kind of get it. But anyway, fuck was I about to say? Oh, motherfuckers who acts like, yeah, I ain't even gonna roast. All right, let's continue.
Men cannot opt out of parenthood. Men have very few domestic violence shelters and are not taken seriously when they're domestic violence victims.
I agree on that. I do
White
agree
men
on
in
that.
particular are discriminated against when it comes to hiring and educational attainment.
True.
The Duluth model is a model that law enforcement, courts, and counselors use automatically that assumes men are the aggressor. The tender years doctrine is a guideline in divorce used to justify removing the father from the child's life. The only institutional sexism that exists is institutional sexism that discriminates against men in favor of women. Furthermore, U.S. courts do not require receipts to show how that money is spent by the custodial parent, unless there's overwhelming.
Most of that child support money don't get spent on children. If I had to take a wild guess, that shit gets spent. Well, I don't know what it gets spent on now. I think did they change it? Do it get put on a card or something? And I can't remember. But that child support be going towards their debauchery and fucking degeneracy, not the kid.
Evidence of starvation, malnutrition, or severe child abuse. There are
Hold
numerous
on,
reports
pause.
of custodial
You want the
parents spending
government
the
to
money
check
on
receipts
luxury.
and see, like,
Let's let her respond to some of that.
Hold on, let's understand something. You want government to be so big that you literally have the government looking at receipts to see what a mother is spending the money on? That's insane.
I want no child support, no alimony, 50-50.
Yeah, because you're crazy and you don't live in reality.
That's not crazy. And I mean, yeah, she's doing ad hominem. Wait, let me make sure I'm saying that word right. I think it's ad hominem. Look, y'all can make fun of me below. I don't even know how to spell it. Oh shit, I'm about to really look stupid. Hold on. Fuck y'all. Personal attack redirects here. Yeah. Ad hominem. Ad hominem. Short for argumentum hominem. refers to several types of arguments where the speaker attacks the character, motive, or some other attribute to avoid genuine debate. You learn something new every day, folks. Ad hominem. I think I was saying it right. Let's get back into it. She calling her crazy. First, she told her she needs some Botox. Now she's saying she's crazy. Why is 50-50 custody, no alimony, and no child support crazy? That would assume that both parties are equal, both parties can get jobs. We both have the kid 50% of the time. I don't understand, but whatever.
I want equality. I'm more of a feminist than you, Anna. Because I say if you want to vote, be in selective service. Be on the front lines just like the men are.
Who do you think gives birth to and raises those soldiers?
What does that have to do with anything?
Because you assert that women shouldn't be allowed to vote because they're not all in mandatory military service.
I say be equal. You want to vote, do what the men do. Men are fined $125,000.
Should women be included in combat? Should women be included in combat?
Yes.
Okay.
Do what the men do.
Fair.
Do what the men do.
Yeah, fair. Agreed. Next? Next? Nothing? Okay. I want to know what your ideal woman is, because if you are a traditional conservative woman who's married, staying at home, raising kids, you trash them.
There's no such thing as a traditional woman. They cannot be traditional in 2025 because women will always have the leverage.
What does that mean? What does it mean that women
Because
will always have the leverage?
Women have child support to fall back on. Women have alimony. So automatically
10% of divorces end with alimony settlements.
And
10%.
And they go.
You just ignore the stats.
They
You
go
just move
from
on.
men to women. They go from men to women. Billions of dollars every year.
I thought you said earlier that women are paying alimony.
Billions of dollars of wealth every year is transferred from men to women.
Mm-hmm. Based on what? Where are you getting that information from? You're just making it up?
Look, we have it. We're excited. We can get it to you at the end. You didn't want to submit. Where are your sources? You didn't want to submit them ahead of time. You did.
The Census Bureau, Bureau of Labor Statistics. I cited everything I mentioned.
I agree. Women pretty much are going to have the leverage. That's why I said what I said earlier. I mean, in a sense, there's no such thing as a traditional woman because, I mean, yeah, if you marry her, she still has some leverage over you. If you have kids with her, she still got leverage over you. So the only way for a man to maintain all leverage is never marry him, never move in with him, never have kids with him. It's the only way.
Pull it up.
Yeah, Pearl is horrible at this, but I would probably be worse, so I'm not roasting, but she is horrible at this debating thing. But, I mean, maybe if she keep doing it, practice make perfect.
Pearl, the main thing I want people to understand, okay, Pearl's gonna trash women no matter what. That's fine.
I'm not trashing
But
them.
my biggest gripe with you is you're discouraging people from entering marriages.
I don't tell men what to do. Sell me on.
You
okay,
advise
Anna,
men to avoid marriage.
Sell me on marriage. What do men get out of marriage?
That's sad. It's sad that people think that. It really is.
Sell it. Sell it, Anna. Now I can debate this. Men get nothing out of marriage that he can't get out of just having a live-in girlfriend. He can have babies. Like what can he have? The cooking ain't gonna get no better. The sex ain't gonna get no better. It's gonna decline. The cleaning ain't gonna get no better once I marry her. What's gonna improve? I was already getting all that when you was my girlfriend. And pretty much everything that I was getting while you was at my pretty much everything that I was getting with you as my girlfriend is going to decline after we get married. After we get married, usually. So please, come on, sell it to us, Anna.
You get a partner, you get a teammate, you get to build a life together, and it's beautiful. I feel like misery loves company in this situation. And how would you know?
Pearl was not even trying to say anything back. Like, nah, I would have definitely been talking back on this part. Everything she just named, you can get with a girlfriend. Now, that was a really easy comeback. I don't know why Pearl didn't have that one locked and loaded before she even asked that question.
Know what you get out of marriage if you haven't experienced marriage in the first place. I'm not saying that as a personal attack. I really hope that Pearl
looks defeated. Like she really just, this was one of the worst debate showings. I don't know why she agreed to this. Like all of her sass and wit has just left her body. And you know what? It might be the same way with me if I was up there. It's different talking behind a mic, behind the camera with nobody else to challenge you or, trade wit with. If you look at Pearl on her show, she's witty, funny, the jabs. But live in person, it's a different ball game.
meets the love of her life and gets married. It's not about that. But you trash it without really understanding what the benefits are.
Why do we have phrases like it's cheaper to keep her?
She's not making, like, she just keep asking Anna a question. Like basically what do you call it? A rhetorical question. Is that what you call it? Like, yeah, this is terrible, bro.
Pearl,
answer the question.
Divorce is expensive. And by the way, on purpose to discourage people from getting divorced in the first place.
Why do we have phrases like happy wife, happy life?
Because it's true. Same with happy husband, happy life. I don't want to come home to an angry husband.
But that's not a phrase.
Do you have any other catchphrase or slogan you want to throw at me?
What do men get out of marriage?
They get a partner
that gains 25 pounds in the first 5 years.
Men get pretty fat too. I don't know if you've done a comparative analysis on that. They actually end up gaining more weight than their wives do. And who cares?
Men.
I mean, have a conversation with your partner. Encourage her. Be an adult.
How can men and women be equal?
Especially if she's giving you children.
How can men and women be equal when one is expected to die for the other?
I don't expect anyone to die for anyone else. I don't know what that even comes from.
Yeah, but men are willing to die for you every day. The men in the police force, the men in the military.
What about the women in the police force?
They're 10% and they cause
so
many problems.
Who cares what percentage women make up of the police force?
Yeah,
they're in the police force. My sister-in-law's a cop, actually.
They can't do the same jobs.
You don't want to hear about your anecdotal stories, Anna. I mean, yeah, I think the whole thing about alimony only being paid out 10%, I think that was a valid point. If it's only happening 10% of the time, it kind of negates pointing it out, in my opinion. The same thing with 10% of women in the workforce. But yeah, I just want to reiterate, you get nothing from marrying a woman. That woman objectively gets worse after she knows she got you locked in. There's nothing else for her to look forward to or act right for. Before you marry her, she like, well, let me still act right because he haven't locked it down. He ain't put a ring on it yet, so let me not get too crazy. or even after she get married. Well, he ain't give me my babies yet, so I can't act too crazy. But once she got the marriage, the babies, and all that, the house, oh yeah, it's time for you to see the real her. Like I always say, women are like 4 different women in the relationship span of 50 years. One when you meet her, one person when you move in, one person after she have kids, and one person after menopause.
There's videos on the
You should
internet
see my
everywhere of
sister-in-law.
women getting their guns taken because they're not strong enough.
Are you just making things up? Pearl, what are you doing? Like, seriously. Next question.
I mean, she's literally just standing there. Pearl is just completely choking. I know she wants to run off that stage right now so bad. I'm not roasting. I'm not roasting. I'm not roasting. Is this debate format even? Is this usually how the debate format goes? I don't feel like the moderator is moderating too well. She's just fucking standing there.
Do you realize how good you have it in this country?
Absolutely. Best country in the world.
And you get to live the life you live at the expense of men.
No, that's not true.
That is true.
Show me how.
Do you know how many men die every year? There are men that die every year to get you crab.
How many women die every year during childbirth?
Not many.
This country has the highest maternal mortality rate of any developed country, so a lot of women do die as a result of pregnancy and childbirth, yes.
This is hard to watch. I think we can be done. I don't think they're gonna say anything too profound. This is hard to watch. All right, I'm gonna get off here, guys. That was fun. If anybody want to watch the full debate, I think it started like the 6.5 hour mark. It's called Word War Debate. Just type in Word War Debate, it should pop up. Word War Debate Pearl, it should pop up. Who do we think won this debate before I get off here? Who won, according to y'all? I mean, yeah, debating, it's a whole science to debating, for sure. Shout out to Nappy. That's a fact. That's a fact, Nappy. Yeah. Pearl, to me, Pearl completely bombed this debate. Even though I'm on her side. She completely bombed it. Everybody subscribe to me. This really wasn't my best live stream, but my other ones are better. I'm getting sleepy. All right. I'll catch y'all later. Remember, how others treat you is their karma. How you treat others is your karma. Be nice to people because God's watching. And remember, I'm a nice guy. I just play asshole on the internet. And I've never done anything remotely wrong my entire life. Ever. .637 or wait, Ignacio. Salute, Ignacio. Thanks for watching. All right, I'm out.